Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been summoned here to this courtroom today to hear the self-confessed tale of a murderer. Your duty is not to adjudicate whether this man is innocent or guilty, for that is already established in the eyes of this court. The man about to appear freely admits his guilt. You will hear in full his confession, and you will see and hear in full his physical recreation of the murder. You have all been handed a small black ticket upon entering. At the end of the man's performance, you are to hand the ticket to the member of staff representing MAD, or to the member of staff representing evil. No one is allowed to abstain from voting. You must do this. Once every jury member has completed their vote, you will then be free to exit the building. Thank you for your time. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you know the legal definition of insanity? Many people believe that they do, but in actuality, they do not. Insanity is when you are not aware of nor responsible for your actions, while I am both. In the tale I will tell you here today, you will hear of a cold-blooded, premeditated murder. Now, I may be evil, I may be conscienceless, but I am not mad. Please remember that when casting your votes at the end of the performance, for it is your decision that will determine my fate. True! Nervous. Dreadfully, dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why would you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not deadened, not dullened them. Above all was my sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in heaven. I heard all things on earth. I heard many things in hell. So I ask again, why would you say that I am mad? Hearken and observe how healthily and calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible for me to say when the idea first occurred to me, but once it did, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none. Passion, there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never spoken ill of me. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture. A disgusting pale blue with a hideous veil over it, and every time he looked at me, it turned my blood cold. And so by degrees, very gradually, I resolved to murder the old man, and thus rid myself of the disgusting vulture eye forever. And every night, just about midnight, I would go walking up the stairs, but stealthily, you cannot believe how stealthily, approach his bedroom door. And then, after waiting some time, perhaps an hour, I would slowly, cautiously inch the door open. And when it's open, place my head inside the room, just a fraction, mind you. See if he was awake. And when I felt sufficiently confident that he had not detected my presence, I would open a small crevice in the lantern, cautiously, oh so cautiously, for the hinges creaked. I went inside. I would turn a simple, dim ray of light flush upon his face. But the eye was closed. Every night, for 7 long nights, his filthy vulture eye was closed. Thus, meaning I could not do the job. I could not kill him. It was not the old man that vexed me, but his evil eye. And every morning, when the dawn broke, I would walk boldly into his chamber, courageously addressing him by name, speaking in a hearty tone and asking him how he had passed the night. This is the mark of genius, the gaining of the victim's trust. He had no inkling of my intentions for him, so, you see, he would have to have been a very profound old man indeed to have ever suspected that anything was wrong. And so, upon the 8th night, I proceeded to his bedroom with far more caution than was usual. Opening a tiny crack in the door, I gave wait for an hour, 1 whole hour, until I started to thrust my head in stealthily. You cannot imagine how stealthily. And when my head was sufficiently in the room, I could see him lying on the bed. Opening a small crevice on the lantern, my thumb slipped and clicked the metal. I can only assume he must have heard me, for he sat bolt upright in bed. I waited and waited and waited. He did not lie down, and presently my breathing increased. He must have heard me, for he shrieked out, "Who's there?" I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and then I entered the room, stealthily, oh so stealthily. You may expect me to have said I would have backed off, but no. The room was an inky pitch blackness. The shutters were closed due to his fear of robbers and other vagrants of the night. When another hour had passed, I still had not heard him lie down. So I resolved to open a small crevice in the lantern, and out shot the simple dim ray like the thread of the spider. And fell full upon the vulture eye. I could see nothing else of the man's head, nor his body, for I had directed the ray as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. And again, what you take for madness is merely over-acuteness of the senses. For there now came to me a low, dull, quick sound. Much the sound that a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. And at this hour of the night, an uncontrollable terror came to me at this new sound. I knew the sound too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. Of course, I'd heard similar things when lying awake in bed of a night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall. But for now, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew louder! Louder! Did I not tell you before I am nervous? Mark me well, so that I am. The old man must have been petrified. It grew quicker and quicker and louder and louder! And now, a new anxiety seized me. The sound would surely be heard by a neighbour. But still I did not rush in. I maintain my stillness, my silence. I maintain the ray upon the eye. If only you would close it, but he wouldn't. The beating is growing louder! Louder! This is it. The old man's hour had come. With a loud shriek, I dragged him out of the bed, knocked him to the floor, and proceeded to render him unconscious. The heartbeat was growing slowly muffled. At length, it ceased. The old bastard was dead. Stone, stone, dead. His vulture eye would trouble me no more. And for those of you who still think me mad, you will do so no longer when I demonstrate to you the lengths I went to conceal the body. Firstly, I made the decision to dismember the corpse. Firstly, cutting off his head. sliced off his scrotum. Then the right leg. Then the left leg. I then removed 3 planks of wood from the floorboards and deposited all between the scantlings, starting with the cup and the trunk. The scrotum. And in the arms. Finally, the legs. I then replace the 3 boards so cleverly, so perfectly, that no human eye, not even his, will ever be able to tell that anything was wrong. Now, for those of you who still fancy me mad, look again. Would a madman have thought of this? There are no blood spots. There are no stains whatever. A tub had caught all. And now, simply remove the tub, and voila, you have the perfect murder. It was 4 o'clock in the morning by the time my work was complete. As black as midnight in hell, the church bell rung, marking the hour. And then I heard a knock at the street door. Leaving the chamber, I gaily made my way down to the stairs. For what had I now to fear? There came another knock at the door. As I opened it, in stepped 3 gentlemen, claiming themselves to be, with perfect suavity, police officers. A neighbour had heard a shriek of some kind, a disturbance. The police had been contacted, foul play was suspected, and those three, the officers, were deputed to search the premises. I bade them welcome. I bade them search well. For what had I now to fear? I took them all over the house. I took them through the old man's garden. When we re-entered the house, I bade them search well. I took them upstairs. I showed them his possessions, his clothing, his gold, all secure, all undisturbed. What had I now to worry? The shriek, I explained, had been my own, mere dream, come nightmare. The old man was absent, vacationing in the countryside. My story had convinced them. The officers were now at ease. And, in the wild audacity of my own triumph, I bade them to sit and relieve their weariness. I offered them drinks, not on duty. No, thank you. Don't drink. And then I placed my own chair right on the floorboards under which reposed the victim. We chatted pleasantly, me asking them how the jobs was, how their wives were, how well were their children. They were amiable enough. We sat chatting for nearly an hour. And then I remember getting a feeling of like not feeling very well. Ere long I grew dizzy and my head ached. And I wished them gone. Why would they not be gone? And now, it came to me again. A low, dull, quick sound. Much the same sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I could hear it. Can you hear it? It was the heartbeat. It was the heartbeat. I spoke more quickly and more freely in an attempt to at least appear gay and to try to hide the sound, but no, it just steadily increased. It grew louder and louder. My head was pounding. It got louder and louder. Surely they could hear it. But no, they just sat, chatting, smiling. Stop it, you bastards, for I can stand it no more! Why won't you just come out and say, that you know, that you can hear it. Surely I'm not the only one who can hear the heartbeat. But there's nothing. It's just sitting, smiling, smiling those smiles of serpents, biblical serpents. Filthy, stinking hypocrites, toying with me like a cat with a mouse. Louder! The beating grows louder. It's quicker and quicker and louder and louder. I swung my tail the walls to try and stop it. No. It grew and grew. It grew in speed. It grew in volume. Don't you hear it? Louder! Louder! And I wished to scream to them, get out! Get out of my house! But no, the heartbeat's drowning me out. Louder, louder. I foamed. I raved. I swore! Louder, louder. Every second, every goddamn second. Louder! 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 But still, they sit, chatting quietly and pleasantly, smiling. This is some kind of torture. Why would they not be gone? Why don't they just say they know what I've done? But they don't. I cannot take this anymore. I cannot take this punishment. I cannot take this torture. Villains! I shrieked. Dissemble no more! I admit the deed. Tear off the planks! Here! Here! It is the beating of his hideous heart! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have just witnessed my special performance, and now it is up to you to place your vote for either mad or evil. You may sit in pious judgment of me, thinking you are superior, thinking you would never stoop to these lengths, but trust me, I am one of many. Call me Legion, for we are many. If you have the guts and the backbone and the integrity to vote for evil, which is what I am, you have my commands. If you choose to take the pusillanimous way out, the cop-out, and vote for madness, that is your issue. You live with it. It's up to you. But remember me now by my final words. Remember them forever and ever and ever. When I say to you, evil never dies.